Hello, how are you today? So good to see you. So good to see you today. All right, I'm going to get started if I may, and I'm very sorry about the beginning of that. That was my daughter Jessie calling, and I probably do need to talk to her, but I will get to her as soon as this is over. If you'll leave a comment and let me know that you're here and that you can hear me and that everything is okay, I'll know to go ahead and get going with everything today. We are going to be using the stamp set Welcoming Woods and doing a few things with that. And before that, there, hi Faith, good. Glad to see that somebody's here. I just wanted to go over the fact that today is the 24-hour stamp sale. It is on the cling stamps, and I'm going to move this away for a few minutes and just talk about what a cling stamp is for just a moment. Artistically Inked is one of the cling stamps that's in our catalog, and the sale is for cling stamps that are in our annual catalog, and this is the catalog that they're talking about. These are the red rubber stamps. This is how I keep mine, and they have the sticker that you put on there, and they go onto the block, and it's just the red rubber. So any of the stamps that have the red rubber are on sale today, and not the ones from the very, very back that are in the host area. Those are not on sale. But any of the other stamps that are in here, for instance, I just flipped over. This is a cling stamp. This is one. And you can see it says it right here, 8 cling stamps. Okay, this one is not. The others are photopolymer, and they're the clear stamps like this. So the ones that are on sale are the ones that are your red rubber stamps in the annual catalog, but not a host stamp. And if you have some stamps that you would like to order, if you'll go to lovetocreate.typepad.com, we'll have a link for you there to my online store. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you. Hi, Tina. Good. Great. Oh, okay. I just ordered my stuff for on stage a few days late, so I don't have mine yet. I hope you are liking what's in there. I'm excited to see. Okay, I'm going to show you in our mini catalog that lasts through December. The Welcoming Woods stamp set is on page 46, and it is a photopolymer stamp set, and we're going to be doing 2 cards with this set. Now, I'm going to tell you, I love trees, and I do like this set, but it kind of bugs me that the trees just kind of stop, and I know they can't go on forever. I mean, you can't have a stamp set that's as big as the room or whatever, but I have 2 cards that show a smaller section of the tree, so there's really no stopping. You can see here, there's a little piece right there that just stops, and for some reason that just kind of bugs me a little bit. So we're going to be doing 2 cards that have a smaller area with the trees. So let's go ahead and get started. I have a fall card and a winter card. So the first card we're going to make is this one. This one uses the Pattern Party paper. Let me pull out my catalog real quick. This is one of the host benefits that you can get if you have an order of 150 or more. Half of the pack is beautiful colors, and the flip side of those are black and white. So we're using this one right here with the little leaves on it for our card today. So let me pull out my packet and we'll try to get started. It's kind of hard to have all this stuff out here and keep it straight, even if we're only doing 2 cards. So let me pull out what I have. And I did try to go ahead and do all of the cutting so I can keep this a little bit shorter. The base of the card is thick, basic white, and it is cut at 4 1/4 by 11. I scored it at 5 1/2, and then I have folded it here, and I did use my bone folder. And the first thing that I'm going to do is add this piece of paper to the front of the card. Now this paper is cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and well, actually it's a little bit bigger, I see, but I usually like to do it a tad bigger, and then I just go back and trim, and that way I'm sure it covers everything. So let me get my glue, and okay, and I'm just going to kind of slide this so that it lines up with the spine of the card here, and that way it should line up the rest of the way. Okay. Now to trim that, I'm just going to turn it over, and I see that I have a little bit here. Now I could take this to the paper trimmer and trim it that way, but I find if I just go up next to the cardstock, I can get it cut pretty straight that way. Okay, so we have the front of the card. Now for this, we are using the stitched rectangle dies. I've got mine are a tad warped, and they are not wanting to stay down flat right now, but we'll work on that later. And I have a couple missing. I've got one missing here that I'm going to be using in a class, and I've already pulled it out. But to do a little frame like this, I like to use the size that I need for the bigger one, and then skip a size, and then go to the next one. So you see I've got one here that I've skipped. So I used these two to cut out my frame, and I do that all at once. I just lay that on my black cardstock, try to even it up as much as I can. I usually don't put any tape on there to hold it. I just am very careful when I put down my top plate. Jane. It works fine. So I'm going to put these back in before I lose them. And we're going to use this also for the next card. And I'll put that away for a moment. And let's see. So this is going to go on the card here in the center, but we're not quite ready to do that yet. We've got a little piece of white that I cut at 3 by 4 1/2 that we are going to do some stamping on with the trees. So I'm going to pull in actually my Stamparatus to do that. And I'm going to pull in just a stamp pad to lay the top of my Stamparatus on there. Sometimes these photopolymer stamps get a little sticky there, and I think I had also put some tape on there. But I've got that so it'll come across like this, and I'm going to lay my card. I am going to put just a tad of sticky there to hold my card in place. So So I'm going to put it about there, and I'm not going to have, I can see where I've stamped before, I'm not going to have those pesky ends showing. That just kind of, I just don't like it. So we're going to be stamping with Memento Black, and I'm just going to, I'm just trying to make sure you could see, I want to stamp like that. And then we, oops, that moved. So I'm going to stamp like that. Now I'm going to bring in, this is just an air hockey puck, and I'm just going to use that to push down. Okay, hopefully that got a good print. Yeah, and now I'm just going to move it down to about there. Let's see if that's going to work. Okay, I may move it just a little bit more. Okay, and let me ink again. Okay, and I really only need to ink this half. I don't know why when I look at that I always do the wrong side. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, so there is the front of the card. Now I'm going to allow that to dry just a little bit. And while I do, I'm going to go ahead and put, okay. Ah, I know I have this stuff. It's just, and I think I've put it strategically where I'll just see it right away, but apparently not. So I'm going to put some of this. This is the foam adhesive strips, and that is going to go on the back of my frame. So I'll put that on while I just want to make sure my black is dry. So I'm going to pull this up. And okay. All right, and then I'll pull up another one. Okay, and I don't want to pull this one all the way up because I don't think I'll use all of it. So I'll just pull it from the side here a little bit. Okay, that will get our frame ready. And we'll go ahead now and work on this. So I'm going to pull in my blending brushes. I'm going to be using Misty Moonlight and also Mango Melody for adding the color to our card. I'll just bring that back in so you can see that. And I'm going to start with the Mango Melody. And this one seems to add the color a little bit brighter than the blue does. But I want it bright, so that was fine with me. So I started kind of from the bottom or from this corner and just added, and I really think that's about as much as I want in that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just put that that one away. Cut off tops make you think of forest fires. You know, I do hear of a lot of forest fires there in California. It's I guess it's nature's way of taking care of pruning and things that it needs to do, but still, it's a scary business if you have a home nearby, I'm sure. So maybe the trees cut off or make more sense to other people. Maybe it's because of where I live, those cut off tops just didn't make any sense to me. And you know, that's very true. There's different things going on around the world. Okay, so what I'm doing is adding in my Misty Moonlight. Just kind of tapping it a little bit and coming in from the paper. And this isn't getting quite as dark as fast as that Mango Melody did, but we'll add one more little group of, or smearing of the Misty Moonlight. Isn't that pretty, the way those two come together? I didn't want to add a third color because it's really kind of a small area. So we'll leave it like that. And we're going to bring in the leaves. The leaves are here. We're going to bring those in and stamp them in black because it's kind of like the sunset or maybe the sunrise. And so you're not going to see your colors so well. So I'm just going to stamp these. I guess I should pay attention to where they go, but they're kind of fallen leaves, so I don't know that it matters a whole lot. To me, it doesn't, anyway. So we'll just do another one here. Maybe we'll add a leaf up in there. There is this one leaf that's way down by itself. Okay, we'll add a few more right here. And I think we'll call that done. Okay, so I'm going to take the center of the card and just add this piece in there, and then our frame is going to go above it. So I think I'm just going to use my seal for that. Making sure I've got my card turned the right way. And this should go in the center. Let's hope that's close. And we'll pull off the foam strips, the covering on the foam strips. Now these foam strips, I'm trying to say, are a little bit thicker than our dimensionals. So if you, if that matters to you, it does to me. If that matters to you, then if you add something like we're going to do in a minute to the card, you want to do that also with the foam strips. So it'll be the same height. So I'm going to stamp this saying from Welcoming Woods, every season brings its own wonder. And I'm going to bring back in the black. And I'm going to, okay, probably got black on my finger here. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that. All right, pretty good. And then put the lid back on that. All right, right, and I'm going to be using, you know, I did not look up the name of this particular banner punch. There are several of them, and I'm just going to look it up real quick. Okay, this one would be the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. Okay, so I'm going to put this into this one. I'm going to turn it on the back and make sure that this paper is to the back, and then I'm going to look at the sides and make sure this is straight. For me, these kinds of punches, it's hard to just put your paper in there, punch, and get a good finish. So hopefully that will work out. Okay, and then I have punched or cut out a leaf. This is from the Mango Melody. I used the Stitched Leaves dies, and I used this one right here. Now when you put that on your paper, of course you'll turn it over the other way, but you want to use both of these dies because this one will get you that outside cut, but this small one in here will get those leaf veins in there, and to me that's the best part. So I'm going to figure out how long I want to keep this piece. I don't want it to stick out, so I'm just going to cut that paper so that it doesn't stick out. And I'm going to kind of lay that there. Get my pick, take your pick tool and add some glue dots right under there to hold that in place. Okay, and then I may add some on the back here to hold that in place as well. Okay, so this is going to go like that. And remember I told you to keep the height, you're going to want to use the foam strips to adhere that as well. So, and then I'm going to get a little bit more to put on down there. Okay, I'll over measure just a tad. Alrighty, so this will go right in here. So we used the Stitched Leaves dies, and we used the Stitched Rectangle dies. Okay, I want that to be up a little bit, my words. So let me do that. And then we are going to add, and let's see, I did not tie this bow. This is the Baker's Twine Essential Pack, and I've almost used all my black, but I think I can get one more bow out of it. So let me lay that down. Yeah, I forget as well, Faith, about the strips, but they really are pretty neat. And when I have a frame, I do like to have it elevated. Okay. So again, I'm using a bow tire to help me with my bow, since I'm a little bow challenged. And that one turned around a little bit. It's a little larger than the first one I made. I'm going to roll up a glue dot and just add it to that stem there. And then we'll add this bow. I'm going to trim those ends just a little bit. These are not my ribbon scissors, but they did pretty well, didn't they? Okay, so I'm going to add a matte black dot to the saying out here. I'm going to use one of the small ones. I wish they were all small. I really like the small. And then I'm going to put that out there. And that will complete our first card. So there we go. And I'm sorry I was at the last minute getting all of this together. And I don't have the insides of my cards today. Just the outside. Okay. So there's our first one. And let me put those aside. Thank you, Tina. And the second one that we're going to make actually has pretty much of the same layout. This is it. And let me get my kit. And we are going to do some embossing. So I probably have said this before. I'm either having a great day of embossing or a yucky day. So we'll see which one this is. When I made the card yesterday, all seemed to be going fine. So this paper is from the annual catalog as well. Let me just flip over. It's in the Designer Series paper section of the book on page 130. It's the Beauty of the Earth paper. And so we're using one of these blue pieces that looks like sky for ours. Okay. So I have already taken the rectangles that we talked about earlier, and I cut out the center of my paper, and I think that this is the one I used, so the fourth one in. So for the other card I used the second and fourth, and for this one I'm using the fourth, and so we just cut that out. Now I'm going to add the rest of this to the front of the card. So I think I'll just use my glue for that. Okay. Okay, you may be thinking that looks pretty bad with that big hole in the center, but we'll take care of it. Let me see. Okay, I've got a little bit sticking out here. So I'll trim that even. Okay. And so we are ready to do our stamping over here. So we're using the trees again. So let me move that in. And because I used black on the first card, and I want to use Early Espresso on this one, let me clean that. And I'm just going to pick my chamois up. I keep it in one of these containers. I'm just going to pick it up and kind of go over all of that. Okay. Put that back. And I'm going to place my paper in there kind of just like we did before. So about right in there. And bring in another pad to put under there. Okay, I appreciate all of the comments from Faith and Tina and Jean, but if anybody else is out there, let me know. I'd like to know if somebody else is watching. So say hello. Okay, and then we'll pick this up and move that again to about the same place. I'm just going to close that a little bit and measure about where I want it. There, I think that'll work. And again, this is just from an air hockey. I ordered it over Amazon. I got it in a group of 4. I did see that some people had something close to this on Etsy, that you just had to order 1. But it's really good if you want to get good even coverage. And I would think for people that maybe have trouble with their hands, that would be a good thing. Okay, so here is our paper with the trees, or our sky with the trees, and I'm going to go over this with my embossing buddy. Now, Stampin' Up no longer uses or sells the embossing buddy. Maybe it'll come back one of these days, but I'm sure you can find them elsewhere, although I hate to say that. All right, in the same stamp set, Welcoming Woods, they have the snowflakes. And so I'm going to stamp those. I'm going to be using Versamark, and you are not really going to be able to see where I stamp. I know. I can't really see either. I'm just looking for a little bit of shiny. Actually, I'm just going to try to remember where I went. I'm turning my snowflakes around just a little, and I think that might be enough. So let me put that back. And then this is my white embossing powder. You like the white, the winter best? I think I do too, Jean, actually. I don't know. I just really, I don't know if it was coming back from vacation or what it was. Can you see the powder? But I've really had a hard time coming up with something for my live today. Now, I did not plug up my heat tool, so let me lean back. Got it. And actually, I grabbed a heat tool that's not Stampin' Up. Please excuse the noise. And you can see that it kind of melts the powder. It stands out a lot better. Let me turn that around. Okay, some people heat it from the back, but you can choose whichever way you want. Okay, now I decided on this one, I decided it needed something to go with those edges. And so I brought in, that's an old one, I brought in the Early Espresso ink and a blender brush, and I'm going to go around those edges just a little. We'll see how this goes. So I just want to brown up the edges and make them show up a little bit better. So you can let me know which one you like best. So I'm just tapping off just a tad of the color on the paper and then coming in from the side. Okay, so that's just a little bit, and we'll put that down and let you see what you think. Now, to add this panel, I wanted it to be a more solid feel, so I'm using the foam adhesive sheets. And I have my sheet that I've already cut, and I cut it just a little bit smaller than my insert will be. And to me, this is just real easy. It's a little bit easier than adding all of those dimensionals, and it's more solid, so you're not going to get that dip in there. Okay, so let me pull that backing off and pull back in here this, and we'll see if we can get that right back in there where it goes. Okay, so look at that for a minute. Which one are you going to like best? The one with a little bit of brown on the outside or the other? Be thinking about that, and we'll go ahead and start working on our sentiment. And we're going to emboss that as well. We're going to use the same sentiment that we used before. But this time, let me clean that. This time, we'll be doing it in Versamark. So let me bring my Versamark back in. And, excuse me, I pushed my chair out. I have to stand up to do some of this stamping. Okay, I'm going to do that one again. I felt like I got it too close to the top. Okay. Let me pull back in my embossing powder. And I do like keeping it in a container like this. And I apologize for that. I just about had my finger on the ignore, and it rolled up. So I didn't see it anymore, and sometimes I'm just a little challenged when it comes to all that stuff. So again, I'm going to turn this on the back and look at each side of this and try to make sure I've got it where it's going to be in the center. Okay, and I am thinking that I don't want it way out there, so I'm going to trim this and do it again. Okay. That was spam anyway, I think. There, okay. And then I want this to go all the way across. So I'm going to cut it again. You see how I measured that kind of with my finger and eyeball. We'll see if that's about what I wanted. Maybe a little shorter, but that's okay. And I'm just going to glue this down. Okay, and then we are going to use the wonderful snowflakes. I haven't used these very much, so I was excited to think of something to do with it. And we're just going to kind of punch this out. Now these have a shiny side and kind of a matte side. I chose to use the shiny, and yesterday I used glue, and I decided that today I would not use glue. I somehow slid my snowflake and ended up with little pieces of, well, glue sticking out from the center there, and I didn't really like that. So we will put this about like that on our snowflake, and then this bow is part of the Flowers for Every Season ribbon combo pack. There are 3 ribbons in there, and it was in our, I think it was probably in the spring catalog last year and carried over into our catalog this year. So it's in there with all 3. So I'm going to add my bow. I'm going to just cut that down a little. And then we're going to do one more thing, and that is add some rhinestones. Now this was a wacky pack of rhinestones I got a long time ago. Wacky in that the rhinestones slipped around and they're all over the place. Looking for my Take Your Pick tool. So I'm just going to add a couple rhinestones here to gussy up this outside part a little bit. And then, where did I put that other one? I think it came off. Oh, no, I put it right there in the center of a snowflake. So we'll do that again. Kind of like that. Okay, so there we go with that card. And here are 2 cards that are pretty much the same kind of pattern or the same kind of layout with just a little bit of difference, and uses those tricks. Did you decide if you like the brown? Jean thinks that the brown card has more depth. But it also might make the snow look a little dirty, so there you go. You'll have to make a decision about which is it that you like best, which is more important to you. Well, that's it for today. I appreciate that you came by. I would love it if you would share this if you have friends. Hi, Connie. I hope your family's doing okay. Let's see, if you want to order something, lovetocreate.typepad.com. The stamp sale, 15% off of Kling stamps, is only good for today, October 20th. So if you have stamps that you have been tempted by, 15% off is a pretty good thing. And if you're a demonstrator, you still get your additional discount when buying the sets. So something to really think about. It's a good time to get that stuff. All right. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and go stamp something. Bye-bye.